welcome back to the Pioneer Voice. I'm Danielle Collar, your host, and we are super excited to have Dusty Folds with us today to talk about PioneerCon. Dusty, welcome to the Pioneer Voice.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. So PioneerCon, super exciting, super fun. But for those who don't really know much about PioneerCon, can you tell us what it is and a little bit about the history?
Absolutely. So PioneerCon is a combination of Comic-Con, if you're familiar with that, and an academic conference.
Oh.
It's a little bit of both of those. We talk about science fiction, fantasy, anime, manga, gaming, popular culture. It's just a lot of different topics and genres that we focus on. But while we have a lot of fun interactive events there, we also are an academic conference. So we have students, faculty, and staff who are presenting papers and panel discussions on a whole host of topics. So there's a lot going on.
Okay.
Now, as far as the history, this is our 10th PioneerCon.
Oh, wow.
It started in 2016 by Katie Boyer. She was an English instructor, but she was also the advisor for the Jefferson State chapter of Sigma Kappa Delta, which is the English Honor Society for two-year colleges. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for a project to do. So someone there, I always give Katie credit for it, but it may have been someone else. They decided to do their own Comic-Con event at Jeff State, and this was it. It started off as a rather small but all-day event that was a Sigma Kappa Delta project. But then over the years, it has grown. Mm-hmm. I took over PioneerCon in 2022 when Katie left. And it was decided at that point that the event had grown so large, it no longer was just going to be an SKD event. It was going to be its own thing entirely. Mm-hmm. So it was spun off to its own event. And it has continued to grow, I think, since then.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about how you got involved. So how do students get involved?
Sure. There are so many different ways that students can get involved. We do have, like I said, presentations with students, faculty, and staff. So students can get involved by doing that, being a part of those presentations. And I think that's a really cool aspect of PioneerCon because academic conferences are probably one of the things I was happiest to do as a student myself. When I was in college, I liked going to conferences, meeting people from all over the country and all that. But there's a huge expense to going to a conference. Mm-hmm. Even if you get a scholarship that pays for you to go, or pays for the conference like registration or whatever, that's great. But there's still an expense because you have to leave your home, you have to leave your life. If you have a job, if you have children, all those are added expenses that not all students have the luxury of partaking. Mm-hmm. And so having a conference here at Jeff State during class time and so forth makes it so much easier for students to be a part of that so they can get involved that way. They can also be parts of some of the organizations that we have. We have tables set up for various Jeff State organizations, and a lot of the students who are involved in those organizations are at those tables talking about some of the events that they're doing, talking about some of the activities they do. Some of them, like the Math Honor Society, they even do face paintings, and so the students are doing the face painting. I know, a lot of fun. Yeah. People have fun with that. You can also just come to the event to attend the event. Mm-hmm. There are all of these sessions going on. We have a game room set up all day long, so you can go in there and do some gaming with people. We're going to have a cosplay contest this year, so you can dress up as your favorite character and come and participate as part of that. There are so many different ways for students to be involved. The biggest thing is show up. It's October 23rd at the Shelby campus in the Judy Merritt Building on the main floor. Basically in those multi-purpose rooms. If you walk through the front door, you're going to see it. We're taking over the entire first floor. And so as long as you show up, I think you'll find a way to get involved.
That is great. And so like you said, there's something for everybody.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what does this year's event look like? I know you touched a little bit on that, but what is the theme for this year?
Sure. So the theme is transformation. If you're watching this, that's what my T-shirt is. This is the T-shirt for this year. The theme is transformation. And that has been a really popular theme. When we came up with it, I don't think we realized how popular it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I have had so many people tell me that they're excited about this theme. That they want to be a part of this. Different faculty members have come up with ways that they can incorporate the theme into their classes.
That's awesome.
Which is really amazing. So that was our theme. And for that theme, we're going to have several things set up. Of course, we have our sessions, our breakout sessions with the presentations, but we're going to start things with a presentation, or not a presentation so much as a performance. There you go. A performance by the Jeff State Singers. They're going to open us up at 9:30, doing a few songs that relate to transformation. So I'm really excited about that. Jessica Kaufhold has come up with some wonderful
She's
things
incredible.
for that. She's amazing. And then after that, we start our breakout sessions. In addition to the different presentations, like I said, we're going to have tables set up. We're going to have the Borough Bookstore from Leeds is going to be there to sell books that relate to transformation. I'm really excited about that because that is a used bookstore. And so I think the prices are going to be really good for our students because we've had new books there, which are great. They're expensive.
Right. Yeah.
Books are expensive. So having a used bookstore there can pull a lot different inventory, some older material, but just things that are better priced. We have, like I said, we have a game room set up. That is through the Valhalla Board Game Cafe, which is in Pelham. They have been with us since 2022, and they're going to be back this year. They set up an entire room. They have board games in there that they're selling, but you can just come in there and bring your own board game and sit down and play with friends or have people who just walk in and you sit down with them and start playing. So it's a fun, interactive room there. We also will have a nice photo opportunity. Ashley Kitchens always designs this wonderful backdrop for us, and I've already seen the one for this year, and it's really, really good. So you can do a photo op there. And then we have the University of Montevallo's Game Studies and Design program. They will be there showing off their brand new, they designed it, tabletop escape room.
Oh, wow.
I know. So that's really exciting. The professor who's over that program is Dr. Kathleen Martin. She's a really good friend of mine. And when we were talking about their involvement in PioneerCon, they've been involved since 2022 as well. When we were talking about their involvement with it, she said that she was going to be teaching a class all on escape rooms. And I said, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And she said, well, what I was thinking is when my students design an escape room, they could come to PioneerCon to show it and run it. And I said, absolutely, we will do that. And so it's going to be one that they've designed, not something anyone's seen before, so students can come in and be a part of that escape room.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. So then we also, there's so much. I'm trying to keep track of everything we have going on. We have the Pioneer Players. They will be doing an interactive presentation. It's kind of a movable theater or something. So between the sessions, they're going to be out in the lobby taking on different characters and so forth. And so you get to go up to them and talk to them about the character they are. So it's this interactive theater experience. And then we also have trivia set up.
Okay.
And then hosted by David McRae. He does our trivia every year. He does a great job for that. People seem to have a lot of fun with it. Part of that trivia moment is also going to be a cosplay contest, like I said just a second ago. And we're going to have a keynote speaker. We always have a keynote speaker every year. The keynote is brought to PioneerCon by SKD, the English Honor Society. So they brought another wonderful keynote speaker, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later. So there'll be that. And then we'll have free food. I always have to throw that in.
Oh, yeah. Always have to have free food.
Always have the free food, yeah. So a lot of different events going on.
Well, that's fantastic. So that's actually a perfect segue. Can we go ahead and talk about who the keynote speaker
Absolutely.
is?
So I have her book. I'm going to hold this up. So if you're watching this, you can see it. It is Carrie Madden Lunsford. Yeah, Lunsford. I want to make sure I get that last name correctly. This is her latest book called Werewolf Hamlet. She is a young adult author. She's a professor of creative writing at UAB. She's written several different books, short stories, things along those lines. And this is her latest one. And I have to say, it is definitely a fantastic book. It's not what I was expecting.
Right.
And I've been very moved by it. So I think anyone who's able to pick it up will really enjoy it and get a lot out of it. It deals with the transformation. You might see the title and think, oh, it's transformation because it's werewolves and maybe some type of cryptid or something. But it's really more about the transformation we all go through in our lives. The main character is a 5th grade boy. So, of course, there's just the transformation that anyone goes through throughout their life.
Right.
But his family's also going through transformation. He has an older brother who's a teenager, and they were very close for so long. But as his brother's gotten older, he's going off and living his own life. So that's that transformation of siblings. Again, I think anyone's going to be able to identify with what's going on in this book. So Carrie is going to be there to do the keynote. I know she's going to talk about the book, but I don't know what else she's going to be talking about. Our keynote speakers every year bring some amazing opportunities for our students. They come there, they talk about their process, what they've learned, but also usually give some great advice and so forth to them.
That sounds great. Yeah. So you mentioned a lot that's going on. And it sounds like there's a set schedule. Is there a schedule that, like, do students need to attend the whole thing? Can you come and go? Is there a schedule where they can see what's happening when?
Yeah, there will be a schedule.
Okay, yeah, okay.
There's not quite yet. So the presentations that students were able to be a part of, those were due on Friday, October the 3rd. So when we're recording this, those have already been submitted. We're going through those now. Dr. Erin Arnold she goes through those, she collects those, and then she and I get together to come up with the actual schedule, who's going to present when. We will publish that on our website, and so you could definitely go there to see when the sessions are going on. But no, you don't have to be there for the whole thing. In fact, it's encouraged that you drop in. We try to set the presentation schedules during class times. So if you don't have a class during a specific time, then hopefully you can drop in and see a presentation. So typically 10 to 11:15, things like that. So we try to meet the typical class schedule that way. But you can drop in anytime. And if we have this happen every year, people will stop in and be like, oh, what can I do? And we're like, well, there are sessions going on right now, but what you could do, check out some of our different tables that we have set up out here with our clubs and organizations. Go to the game room, go over there and check out what's going on there. There's something, no matter when you stop in, there will be something for you to do constantly. Now, the only thing that you really have to do, there is no cost involved with this, which is always a fun thing, I have to say. I talk to people about doing this, and they think of things like Dragon Con or other events that are like this that happen in Birmingham or elsewhere, and they're like, oh, how much does it cost? I'm like, it doesn't cost anything. And people are shocked by that, but I said, this is a Jeff State event. It's for the students of Jeff State. So there is no cost involved with it. All we ask that you do when you show up is you register. We have a registration table. You register, and then you'll be given a ticket, and that's your meal ticket. So whenever we do our food, that's also our way of keeping track of how many people have been there and so forth.
That's fantastic. So the T-shirts.
Yes.
How do we get the T-shirt?
All right. We will be selling the T-shirts at the event as well. And I have to say, shout out to the designer of this.
Yes.
She has designed these shirts for the past 3 years. So let me do a little bit of a background here. Sure. When I took over Pioneer Con, we had an outside person designing the T-shirts. They were fantastic. They were amazing T-shirts. He did a wonderful job. But I knew that we had a lot of talented students here at Jeff State. So I said, why don't we see what our students can come up with? So we submitted that, like a call basically for submissions for a logo for Pioneer Con that year, because we have a different logo every year. And we got so many wonderful submissions.
That's awesome.
And so we looked through those. We chose the one that we thought this is going to be our design. And that person was Clara Maria Garcia.
Okay.
So Clara designed the shirt, designed the logo. We used the logo on all of our marketing and so forth. So we thought that went really well. Let's do it a second year. So then the second year we did the same thing. Students submitted it. It was a blind submission process, so we didn't know who it was until we had chosen the winner. It was Clara again.
No.
So this year we're like, okay, third time, let's see what we get. And so we had all these designs coming through. And basically I get the designs. I take people's names off of them, and then I submit the designs to the committee. I have a committee that looks at them, so they don't know who it is. So I'm getting the designs in, and then I submit it to the committee, and it comes back, and I see, because I'm tallying the votes as they're coming in. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Yes, this is another Clara design.
Way.
So
that
she has designed
so
our 3 different, she's graduating now, so she will be designing next year.
Yeah.
But this is a design by one of our students. So Clara has designed the logos each year. And I think this is fantastic.
It is fantastic. I love this theme.
And again, I know if you're watching this, you can see this, but if you're just listening to it, she did this really cool design with a werewolf. So it fits the transformation idea very well. It's, kind of like evolution of man, but maybe the de-evolution of man, because the person is becoming a werewolf. And it really speaks to that. So she did a great job.
That is such an interesting story. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Clara.
Yeah.
And let's see. You did mention the schedule being on the website, but one quick thing. Where do you go on the website to find the schedule?
That's a really good question. The URL for our website can be a little bit difficult because it is hosted through the library.
Okay.
So it is library.jeffersonstate.edu/PioneerCon. So it's a little bit confusing, but if you are at the Jeff State campus, we have flyers posted everywhere.
Okay.
And there's a QR code. You can scan that QR code. It'll take you right to it. And when you go to the website, you'll see some basic information on the first page, and then on the side, you'll see that you can go straight to the events for this year. And so we're constantly updating that. Julie Kennedy is in the library. She helps me do the updates for that particular website. So we're working on that together. And so as new things come up, we'll be posting it there. Like we said, we're doing the schedule right now. So as soon as we get the schedule, that'll be on there as well. Definitely check that out. And then I should also make note that there was another competition that we also ran. This was writing and art contest.
Yes.
Yeah, you were going to ask about that.
That was my next question.
So we had a writing and art contest that was also open to students as well. And you could submit any piece of artwork or any work of fiction, short story, nonfiction as well, poetry, anything like that to this competition. And then Heather Wyatt, she was our instructor who was in charge of gathering all this together. She and her team are going to pick a winner. There's going to be a first, second, and third place in each of the categories. All of them had to center around the theme of transformation. So I'm excited to see what comes of that. And in addition to that, Heather's also in charge of Wingspan, the student publication. And she is going, anybody who submitted to PioneerCon also gets in Wingspan.
Into the Wingspan. That's great.
So you get a publication as well as being able to be recognized at PioneerCon for your efforts.
That's great. And where do you have access to Wingspan?
It's also on the website.
Okay.
That's on Jeff State's website. Heather is going to hate this, but I do not know the website address.
You know
URL.
what? We have a great search bar.
Yes, we have a fantastic. Just go to the search bar, Wingspan, and it'll take you right to it. Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
Absolutely. So earlier when I was talking about our logo competition, I want to say that first year that we did the logo competition, we had so many wonderful submissions. The committee could not choose just one. So they narrowed it down to two. As I said, Clara was the submission that we decided upon for our logo for that year's theme. But Reese McGill was another student who submitted an amazing piece of artwork that we thought fit PioneerCon in general. Not necessarily the theme for that year, but just what PioneerCon is. So if you ever see anything with PioneerCon, I go to basically any Jeff State event I can to promote PioneerCon, and I have a nice little tablecloth that has a PioneerCon logo. My signature line on my email is a PioneerCon logo. That general logo was designed by a student that year as well. So Reese came up with that logo, and I think she did an amazing job with that.
Our students are very talented.
They are very talented. And I will say, too, that was one of the things I wanted to do when I took over PioneerCon is I really wanted to make PioneerCon very student-centered. Now, my goal when I first took over PioneerCon, if I'm being honest, was let's blow this up. Let's just make this as large as possible. Let's make PioneerCon bigger than Jeff State. Let's basically make it the Birmingham Comic-Con type thing. And that was my goal initially. And that's what led to me working with the University of Montevallo, reaching out to Valhalla Board Game Cafe, bringing these outside groups in. But then after that first year, I said, you know what? I think I want to bring this back to its roots. I think I want this to be more Jeff State centered, have more Jeff State involvement. And that's when we started really pushing for Jeff State organizations and clubs being in our lobby to promote their events, to be a part of it. That's when we really started pushing heavily for organizations like Sigma Kappa Delta to sponsor a speaker to come to this, looking at ways that we could get more student involvement. SKD, in fact, their students are the ones who moderate each of our sessions. When we do our breakout sessions and people can go to those academic sessions, those are Jeff State students who are moderating those sessions, who are introducing the speakers. They're involved with all of that. And that's my continued goal, is I keep thinking, how can we get Jeff State students even more involved? Because like we said, with the logo, we have so many talented students. So
we do.
How can we tap into that talent and make them a part of this event?
Right. And there's so many ways that student can get involved. We have so many activities here at Jeff State.
Absolutely.
And, that can also, if you go to www.jeffersonstate.edu, search activities, you can find anything to get involved.
Yeah. And I will say, this does not happen on its own. I start planning PioneerCon the day after PioneerCon happens.
Oh, wow.
So PioneerCon is always on a Thursday in October. That Friday, I'm in my office wrapping up everything, going through everything I need to go through, but I'm reserving the space for the next year's event.
Right.
So I'm setting the date and everything. It takes an entire year to plan this event. And it doesn't happen on its own. There are so many faculty and staff who are eager to be a part of this, who've been there from the beginning and who continually ask me, hey, what do you need help with? Just last week, I was talking to someone and I said, are you going to be able to make it to PioneerCon? And she said, absolutely. You let me know what you need me to help you with. And I was like, okay. I end up having more volunteers than I have things for them to do, which is a fantastic problem to have. But the turnout from not just the students, but the faculty and staff is amazing. There's so many people who are involved with making this grow. Last year, we tried something new. We had 2 PioneerCons. It was interesting.
Yes.
It was a lot of work, I will say. I don't think we will do that again, but it opened us up to opportunities that we had not considered before. So this year, like I said, PioneerCon is at the Shelby campus. Next year, PioneerCon 2026 will be at our Jefferson Centerpoint campus.
Okay.
So we're going to alternate the campuses, and because we realized when we had the 2 that we were able to reach so many more students. And in fact, we had somewhere around 225 people at that event, which was more than the previous year, and so forth. So we're constantly seeing that growth. And we know that if we can make it available to students, they want to be a part of this.
Right, yeah.
And so looking at those different ways that we can grow and morph this event to being something for students, I think is really what our ultimate goal is.
That's fantastic. Dusty, it sounds so exciting. Thank you for all of your efforts for putting into PioneerCon.
Thank you, Danielle.
I can't wait to be there.
Yes.
So, yes, again, thank you for being here today. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in.